Hey, what's going on, y'all? We're talking NIO stock. It's May 30th, 2020. This is not investment advice. This is just a research video I put together of some articles and some video clips that I found to be very educational and entertaining. So, again, this is not investment advice. I have a small position in the company. I'm looking to either add more or not. First article coming from the NASDAQ website, Why NIO Stock is Rising Today. This article was published May 27th, so just a few days ago. Shares of Chinese electric vehicle maker NIO were trading higher amid a broad-based rally on Wednesday afternoon after a JP Morgan analyst upgraded the stock ahead of Thursday's earning report. In a note on Wednesday morning, JP Morgan analyst Nick Lai raised his rating on NIO to neutral from underweight and boosted his price target for the shares to $3.50 from $2. We should note that NIO shares are trading a bit above $4 at mid-afternoon on Wednesday. So this happens from time to time where an analyst gives his rating on a stock and something happens to the share price. It's pretty cool that, in my opinion at least, that things like this happen in the market. So, the article goes on to talk about Tesla's Model 3 and how its success could, translate to NIO success. China Daily reported over the weekend that a 40-minute live stream featuring NIO CEO William Bin Li last week led to 320 vehicle orders, representing about a $21 million in sales and over 5,000 test drive appointments. That's pretty cool. Auto investors still have plenty of questions for NIO. The article goes on to talk about how NIO will report its first quarter earnings results before the market opens tomorrow. So, it's just giving me, I like the article because it's giving me some information about what's going on. When investing geniuses David and Tom Gardner have a stock tip, it can pay to listen. So now the Motley Fool stock advisor guys are saying that they really don't like NIO stock. I look finding another article on Seeking Alpha, where NIO defended at Bank of America after post-earnings drop. The firm points to the higher volume sales forecast for 2020, 2021. This is coming by Clark Schultz, a Seeking Alpha news editor. I follow Seeking Alpha. I have my portfolio attached into Seeking Alpha, so anytime a company that I'm invested in or that I'm looking to invest in, I'll get these notifications. So I'm sharing with y'all what I received. So Bank of America, bumps its price objective $5.50. Referring back to the Motley Fool. So this article, look, is coming at May 29th. Volkswagen invests $2.3 billion in China EVs, takes stake in NIO manufacturing. So Volkswagen is going to invest 1 billion euros in the government-owned parent company of Anhui Zhenghui Automobile Group, often referred to as JAC Motors. In exchange for a 50% stake, VW will also take control of an ongoing joint venture with JAC under the deal. That's pretty cool. So Volkswagen is getting in the game. They have a few, I think, vehicles, but I found this part of the article to be, pretty interesting because, whoever's making NIO's motors, cars are going to also be helping out VW. So the Chinese government is aiming to have so-called new energy vehicles make up 25% of annual vehicle sales in China by 2025. That's pretty cool. So now, look, it's talking about GM, Toyota, of course, Tesla, which are all now going to be competing for the Chinese market, which leads the world in EVs. So NIO announced a deal with economic development authorities in Anhui in which it will move its operations to Hefei. And then this happens.
Savings, not spending right now.
All right. I think Coach would like that. I think Coach would would be in favor of that.
So I'm looking at NIO Limited, it's a Chinese electric car manufacturer.
Oh, man. No. I mean, Tesla. NIO, no, we're not going to do that. No. It's not right. You deserve better than that. You should treat yourself better. Don't do that. You have to buy biotech. Buy some Regeneron. Buy one share. Buy a fractional share. Let's go to Jim in New York. Jim.
whenever we're listening to, and big shout out to Jimmy Chill. I just, that was the same day that I'm reading these articles, so I found it pretty interesting that somebody called in on, his show, and I follow the show religiously, and I thought it was, what are the chances, right, that I'm researching this company and then somebody calls in asking about it, gets his opinion. I love it. So I just thought I'd do a comparison because I do have fractional shares of Tesla. And I do have only 2 shares of NIO. So before, doing any more investing, in my opinion, I'm going to always be investing in Tesla. I believe in the company. But this video that I'm putting together is more about my research and comparison with NIO. So first, let me do a trend line from March 23rd, which, notoriously people were saying that's, that was the bottom, and, give a day or two here and there. But look at, since that bottom day to the last day on Friday, the 29th, look at all, look at look where Tesla stock is just, roaring. Look at above the trend line where it's just, the performance is beautiful. It's nice. And, thanks to my wonderful paintbrush skills here on the chart, forgive me for, not being super technical with everything, but all I'm pretty much trying to demonstrate is from the bottom to present day, how Tesla stock has performed, and it's performed beautifully. A little dip in cost, but it's just been going and performing very well. So when I am gonna analyze NIO's same situation from their bottom to their top, it's kind of hard not to disagree or not concur with what these articles and what these analysts are talking about. How you're going to bump up the price a little bit because you're going to keep going down, you're going to retest that bottom. I doubt it. So here is NIO's behavior. I'm going to draw a trend line here coming up, and again, forgive me for my technical skills here. I'm a very young investor, obviously, so I'm just going to put together a trend line from the bottom to the current day, or the last day on Friday, the 29th. And we're going to take a look at its performance, and it is definitely underperformed compared to Tesla, right? So there's a few days where it bumps, right? And these days happen to be where Bank of America or a JP Morgan analyst, they give their rating and they do a recommended, like a neutral, from underweight, or they do a buy recommendation, or they give their price to bump up just a few cents here or there. But then look, it still dips, because perhaps, like myself and other investors, we're waiting to hear about what's going on across seas with our partners across the world. And, so it's kind of hard to put all of your money into a stock if you're not quite sure what's going to happen in the near future. So I thought it would be cool to get, an expert's opinion on this. So I came across some wonderful clips from CNBC, and I thought I would share that with y'all. I found it to be very interesting about somebody who knows more about what's going on, the temperature of what's happening in the world.
Second part is national sovereignty, national pride, and this has been deeply affected by Hong Kong. Hong Kong has been a sore in the side of this pillar of national sovereignty and national pride. And so as a result of that, that's why China has moved now on Hong Kong, because of this critical year. But China wants to build Hong Kong, not constrain it. We'll have to see what happens with judicial independence, with media freedoms, but China wants Hong Kong to be a core of what they call the Greater Bay Area, Guangdong, Hong Kong, Macau, a coordinated economic zone, which they want to become a world center for commerce, science and technology, education, etc.
Robert, obviously we all hope that things dissipate in terms of this clash around Hong Kong without any elevation. One wonders, though, what could be next. I guess with Hong Kong, there was a clock ticking down anyway for when China would have full control. I mean, 2047, it's a long way off, but it was at least going to happen one day. Do you fear that China's going to try and do something similar towards Taiwan? And if they did, where could that escalate to?
Hong Kong is very different than Taiwan in terms of the implementation of what will happen. Conceptually, in terms of national sovereignty and national pride, there's a great deal of similarity to it. But Hong Kong is very key now and will be something that everybody is watching. The jury's out, and China, everybody will be looking to see what China will do. The Vice Premier Han Zheng said after the national security law was announced that it will only affect a very limited number of people. We'll have to see. But what China wants to do is to keep calm there and to have Hong Kong be part of this greater economic zone in southern China. That's their big ambition. But they have three red lines in Hong Kong. We shouldn't misunderstand. Number one is any move towards independence or quasi-independence, like universal suffrage. Red line two is if Hong Kong is seen as a base for undermining the political system and the Communist Party. And third is unending chaos, which undermines the economy. So if those three things can be prevented, China, I believe, will allow Hong Kong most of the freedoms that it's had in the past.
All right, cool. So who was that guy? His name is Robert Lawrence Kuhn, and here's I found it on Wikipedia who he is. So from time to time, I'll watch something on the news, and somebody will give their opinion, and it's very informative. However, I take everything with a grain of salt, and I try to do my due diligence and my research and find out who is this guy, right? So I'll check out his education. He's got a bachelor's degree in human biology. Hey, so do I. He's got a PhD in anatomy and brain research from the University of California. So he's got a brain, right? So he's got the China. He's like the China whisperer, apparently. So. A little bit about him here. And now, again, I'm leaving links to everything in the videos, all the clips, everything that I've put this video together for. Again, this is all it's public information. I'm just putting it all together as a research tool to invest in a company. This is how neurotic I am. This is how OCD I am when it comes to investing in a company. Again, this isn't investing advice. This is just something that I do, so that way it puts my mind at ease, and the further I go with my research, I find everything just so fascinating. So, coming across about who that guy was that I just saw on the news talking about what's going to happen, and then I come across his business and finance. Advises multinational companies and executives on China strategies in a variety of sectors, including science and technology, information technology, energy and resources, industrial media and entertainment. Very cool. So just to reiterate.
I'm Robert Lawrence Kuhn, and here's what I'm watching. China's proposed national security law focused on Hong Kong and received with great enthusiasm by the National People's Congress, the NPC, China's legislature. China says the law strengthens one country, two systems by curbing chaos of rebels and hooligans. China prioritizes one country. Critics say the law weakens one country, two systems by allowing coercive intrusion of state security forces. Critics prioritize two systems. NPC Secretary General Wang Chen explained what drives the law. Anti-China disrupt Hong Kong forces have been openly promoting Hong Kong independence, he said. There must be vigorous measures under the law to prevent, halt, and punish them. U.S. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo called the proposal disastrous, a death knell for the high degree of autonomy the central government promised for Hong Kong. Chinese Vice Premier Han Zheng seemed to mediate, clarifying the limits of the law, assuring that it will target only a small group of people in order to stop violent anti-government protests, helping, not hurting, ordinary citizens. How to understand China's rationale? As context, the importance of this year, 2020, ushering in the moderately prosperous society, the first part of what President Xi Jinping calls the great rejuvenation of the Chinese nation. There are two pillars supporting this great rejuvenation. One is economic development, increasing the standards of living of the Chinese people, exemplified this year by the eradication of all extreme poverty, a remarkable accomplishment. The other pillar is national sovereignty as an essential element of national pride. Hong Kong's disruptions have been a sore in the side of this pillar, and China's leadership has determined that this sore must be healed. The move has the overwhelming support of the Chinese people. The central government wants to expand Hong Kong, not constrain it, especially as core of the Greater Bay Area Development Plan to build a world-class mega-region. Accordingly, the central government will defer to Hong Kong as much as possible and as long as possible. But there are 3 red lines that cannot be crossed. Movement toward Hong Kong independence, using Hong Kong to undermine the mainland's party-led political system, and unending chaos such that Hong Kong's economic viability would be threatened. As far as threats that financial institutions will depart Hong Kong, as some have suggested, I think not. Pardon my cynicism, but financial institutions seek financial returns. Financial markets abhor uncertainty, and this law reduces uncertainty by thwarting instability. For the law to work well, it must not encroach into Hong Kong's judicial independence and media freedoms. There is fragility in the world, and even minor trauma could shatter crystal. I'm Keeping Watch. I'm Robert Lawrence Kuhn.
Well, there y'all have it. So I hope you enjoyed the video. This is just the extent that I'll go through to continue investing in a company. I take it very serious. It is my money. It's something I work very hard for, my family and I. So if you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. I greatly appreciate it. So until next time, until next company, until next video, y'all take care of each other.